Caleb, welcome to my podcast, the Knowledge Tree Consulting podcast. I had the fortune of meeting you through a referral, which was Chuck Gillum from DT in Colorado, and you're in Kansas.
Correct, yeah.
And so we'll go through the same sort of routine. Like, where did you start? How did you even get into this?
Yeah. So, I mean, initially, kind of like a lot of people in this industry, I started in high school just mowing yards and doing basic landscaping, and then went to college, went to grad school, and then worked in kind of the corporate America scene for about 10 years for various construction and engineering firms. And then in 2009, I got laid off from an engineering firm that I was working at the time, and was kind of thinking about, possible career change and getting out of the corporate scene and doing my own business. And so I'd always kind of been curious internally if I had kept doing the mowing and landscaping business after high school, if I could have grown that into kind of a legitimate business. And so that process from 2009 to 2011 was kind of working out the initial concept of what I wanted to do, and we launched in February of 2011.
2011, okay.
Yeah.
And so grad school, you have an MBA, is that correct?
Yeah.
Now, that's not that common for most landscapers.
Yeah.
Was that useful, do you think, for you? Or was it the experience working for these other firms? Or
Yeah.
what really you think made a big difference?
Probably both. Yeah, I think definitely the varied experience. Some of the construction general contractors I was working for were specialized in commercial construction, so we did like hotel construction, strip malls, things like that. The engineering firm I worked for was a large international engineering firm that did power plants, alternative energy, all sorts of infrastructure type projects. And then the MBA definitely helped me get a better grasp just on what it takes to run a business from an accounting standpoint, looking at balance sheets, P&Ls, things like that. And
Right.
So I think that the MBA probably gave me the most confidence in launching my business and feeling like I at least had a basic baseline understanding of kind of how business operated and were running. But the experience, the 10 years in the corporate scene definitely helped a lot as well.
Yeah, and so talk to me about your first few years in business. Like, how did that go? How many hours a day did you work?
Yeah.
I know you're married, you have some kids, so
Yep.
there's some life changes that kind of jump into the
Yeah.
equation. Maybe talk to us about that journey.
Yeah, so I mean, the first couple of years, as probably most business owners would attest to, were pretty challenging. So I would work 40 to 50 hours a week in the field. I had one employee from day one.
You still have that employee?
No, he left about a year ago, so he's kind of older now, kind of aging out of some of the physical work, and I think was just kind of ready for a change.
Yeah.
But he was with us for 13 years, which
Wow.
was awesome. And so anyway, so Carlos and I would work together in the field. At the time I started the business, we were mowing and doing landscape maintenance. And so there was no kind of design build or hardscape construction involved at that time. So we'd go out, work 40, 50 hours a week. And then, at nights, weekends, I'm doing bids, meeting with potential clients, trying to do all the other things.
And how did that shift happen from the maintenance to the construction design build?
So that happened in 2016. We had one of our maintenance clients who had bought a new house in a really affluent area of Kansas City, and she wanted to do like a full redo of the entire property, landscaping, hardscape, lighting, the whole deal. And so I had a landscape architect that I knew and had worked with on some small projects. And so I approached him and I said, hey, look, this lady wants to do it big. Can you do the design for us? Because I don't have a design background at all. And so he was like, sure. So we did the design. He crushed it. We bid the whole project out, met with the client. At that time, it was a $250,000 job.
That's a pretty
which
big
is a
first
good,
Yeah, hell
big
yeah.
job, right? And so I plopped the proposal down on her dining room table, and I was like, all right, here you go. Here's the bid. And she goes, great. When can you start?
So there's an interesting thing here. Most people don't go from like little jobs to $250,000 job.
Yeah.
And I think the common denominator is trust. At the end of the day, she trusted you.
Yeah.
She trusted your character. She trusted that you were going to do it properly, even despite the lack of your giant
Yeah.
resume. And there's a bit of luck that you have this amazing human being
Yeah.
that is relationship based. So clearly there's a bit of luck in your journey.
Yeah.
And then so you did this big job, and then like where's the next job coming from? What happens?
Yeah, so then the landscape architect we were working with, he was independent, and so he saw how well we did on this job.
So
So then
he's
he
gonna
started
refer you.
referring his clients to us because he didn't have a
Yeah.
dedicated
And are you
contractor.
still working with that architect?
He actually shut his design firm down and went to work for a big firm now.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, we still keep in touch, but yeah, he doesn't do
Got it.
residential
Got it.
design
So
anymore.
boom, just like that, the no's not in the vocabulary clearly.
Yeah.
And you jumped into this new realm. And so, if I talk about your business, and I sort of think of it as like leadership is the gasoline,
Yeah.
and either explodes outside the engine or it explodes in the engine in the cylinders correctly.
Yeah.
And so if I start with the 5 pillars, economics. So on the financial side, you had things pretty much dialed in,
Yeah.
right? And so you're using Synced Up, I think, for
Correct.
your software, which is one of the providers out there. So the financial part, no issues, going well, and that's the opposite of a lot of businesses. They have huge problems with their financials.
Yeah.
So then on the technology side, you're obviously able to integrate technology into your systems and processes, so you don't have an issue there. On the human resources side, though, I was your coach for consultant for a couple of days, and so you had some human resources issues. Maybe talk to us about what that looked like, what some of the problems are, what you do differently, if you could do it again.
Sure. I would say the lesson I've learned over the last 14 years is you can't fire somebody too quickly. Like, I have a tendency to hold on to bad employees too long. And for me, it gets to the point where it's so bad, it just is like crippling pain for me and for the business and just the performance of projects. And so over the last year and a half, I have worked to speed that timeline up of getting rid of bad people. And I'm really focused the last couple of years, and partly because of your help, with focusing on the character of the individual, because I've realized you can't train character. And so if the character is there off the bat, you can train the skills, you can train all of the abilities and equip them with the tools to succeed. But if they don't have the honesty and integrity, it's a lost game from the beginning.
From day one, yeah. So I'm a big believer in implicit trust. So if I trust you implicitly, we are going to have a great relationship. There's just nothing to worry about. And if I make a mistake, I apologize for it. I take responsibility and accountability. And that is the human side of the equation. We're not all perfect. And so that's awesome. And so now you've hired somebody in the office recently for design. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So talk to us about that.
Yeah, so this is a hire I've actually been trying to do for 2 years. We got a landscape architect, and we've interviewed a lot. We've made a lot of offers. We just haven't landed the right person. And so, yeah, her name is Jenna. She's got about a year and a half in the industry since graduating, and she's been on board now for almost 3 weeks. So super stoked to just have her take over and kind of elevate our design game even more.
So here we go again. We're going for talent and character.
Yeah.
And this person's going to be an integral piece in your administration to design properly, value engineer, to set the tender up properly so the crews can build the work. Because part of being an architect isn't just pretty drawings; it's actually setting up the tender in a beautiful workflow.
Yeah.
And you're going to train her on that. And she can probably do some estimating, even some project management.
Yep.
So you're going to have this person who can go out, represent the company, is great with people, and it'll be a weight off your shoulders, and it'll be proper, as we call it in our business. So that's awesome. And how about the equipment side? What's going on with that?
We've always invested really well in equipment, so we turn over our trucks every 5 years.
Love to hear it.
All of our machines we typically turn over every 4 to 5 years or every 1,500 hours. So we have almost no downtime. The only downtime we have is in the winter when we do annual maintenance, and we schedule that out when work is slow, and we schedule it with our shops and stuff. So I have not had a machine go down because of a maintenance issue in like 3 or 4 years, knock on wood.
So that's uncommon. Most people are trying to buy used stuff and
Yeah.
save money and get by. That's not your philosophy. So
No.
we're aligned on that one. So we're just going to skip that whole topic. That's fantastic. So we talked about design. We talked about operations, the technology, the estimating. What about the sales and marketing? What are you doing on that front? What are you doing differently? What's going on there?
Yeah. So for a little over a year now, we've been working with Intrigue Media, which is here outside Toronto. just on lead generation, kind of website,
Yeah.
SEO, Google
Yeah.
AdWords, things like that. I never paid for any marketing for the first 13 years in business, but after you and I started working together and just realizing, hey, we need to grow like the top line so we have opportunity for our team to grow, and this business just can't stay this size forever, and
Right.
and add the good people we're trying to get on board. So we are paying for marketing now. We're paying for Google ads. We're doing some more social media stuff. I'm super active on social media, so we get a lot of organic traction there anyways. But yeah, the paid marketing is something we've been pushing the last year and a half. And we went from getting like 5 to 10 leads a month through our website organically to now we're getting 60 to 80 leads a month. So
60.
it's,
And so, okay, so let's talk about that. That's
Okay.
very interesting. That's a big uptake, but
Yeah.
numbers mean nothing. Quality is everything.
Right.
So let's talk about the quality of that. So we had 5 leads, we're at 80, so 75 new leads.
Yeah.
How many are like tire kickers and how many are like, man, this is great?
So about probably 25% are tire kickers.
Okay.
Our pre-qualification process is we do an initial discovery call, so the client has to send in 2 to 4 photos of the site, a list of kind of what they want to do, and then they have a call with me. We try to schedule that within 24 hours of the inquiry coming in. Once I have the call, then the next step is an on-site consultation, which we charge $85 for. That meeting is generally 45 minutes to an hour. We get our photos, site measurements, elevations, everything to prepare a proposal, design proposal. And then within the next business day, the design proposal goes out, and we say, hey, here's the design cost for your project. And so that's 1, 2, 3. And that all happens. We try to make those call and on-site happen within 48 to 72 hours.
Cool. Now, in terms of making yourself the least needed person in the office, ironically, we just had a tennis match and Caleb kicked my ass, but he's half my age, so that's my excuse, not a reason, okay? So I don't think there's much I can do to beat him. He's a athlete. I'm athletic, and so there's no.
You're too kind, George.
There's no chance for me there. So you love your social life. You love to travel. Do you think this new person could take over that lead screening piece of your business?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, she's already been going on all the on-sites
Okay.
with me, and she's
Okay,
got
so she's
one
job
Friday.
shadowing. She's job shadowing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So she's literally mimicking your best behaviors, and
Yeah.
she's also following your best practices in terms
Yes.
of processes. Okay, so that's kind of cool. And do you think this investment in the marketing is actually having a return on investment for you?
Yes.
In terms of it is. Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. So that's great to know, everybody. So oftentimes as a consultant, one of the things I do is I look like, where can we save money? So that's my first thing. Where can we find money? And then where can we invest money that has a return, which is either an expense or an investment. And so you've got an investment mindset. You see things differently. You've hired me as a consultant. You've hired Intrigue Media as a marketing partner. And so you're investing and you're also dialing in your processes. So you're getting results, and now you're starting to excise the weaker players faster. And of course, you're paying a premium, obviously, for your talent. It's not like you're trying to save money on your talent.
Correct.
So you have a different mindset than most people. Do you think you were born with that, or was that a learned thing?
Probably both. Yeah. I mean, I've always been a hard worker. I've been working paid jobs since I was 14, and I was hustling in my neighborhood at the age of 7, mowing lawns and picking up trash.
So you're willing to get your hands dirty, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you're willing to seek out the talent. So I guess to wrap this thing up, what words of wisdom would you have for the next guest?
Yeah. I would probably tell them, fire quickly.
I love it.
Hire well, hire for character. Character is absolutely number one most important. And I would also tell them, don't be afraid to spend the money on that person, because every time I've spent more money on a person than I wanted to, it's turned out really good. And so it's worth it. If you have to pay someone 5, 10, 15% more, and this is something my HR manager and consultant that I work with has kind of taught me, is the cost of acquiring talent. The time and the money it takes to get another good person in the door exponentially outweighs a 5, 10, 15% pay increase. So look at that.
So you're investing money in a business consultant like me. You're investing in a marketing consultant. And on top of that, you got an HR consultant.
Correct.
So you're getting the best advice from the best people.
Yeah.
And so that's amazing. Most people, the last thing they do is spend money on the intellectual capital.
Yeah.
And so, there's a great model for you. If you want to get better, you got to spend money on the things that you can't touch
Yeah.
and feel. And even your equipment, you're not buying used, you're buying new right out of the gate.
Yep.
So all these things, less headaches. That's amazing. So thanks so much, Caleb, for
Yeah.
being on my podcast. I
for
certainly love
having me,
working with
George.
you. And
I would just
yeah.
say, like, to people, kind of to close off that last piece of the comment was, look at these investments as a percentage of your revenue, right? So when we set our budget every year, I have a percentage of revenue set aside for consultants. I have a percentage of revenue set aside for marketing. So if throughout the year, if our numbers are better, I will actually open that faucet up more and push more money into those different areas. If the market is down or our revenues are down Q1, Q2, I'll kind of shut that off or minimize. So with all of the consultants that we work with, we have the opportunity to pay more money to get additional services sooner. But we can also dial it back down. So that's how I would look at it, is like, hey, don't look at it as like, hey, it's $15,000 to hire this person or $20,000 to be in this group. Look at it as a percentage of revenue and say, hey, if this is 0.5% or 1% of my revenue, like, every company out there is spending money on developing talent. And as an owner, you're your top talent at some point, hopefully not forever, but you got to invest in yourself so you can build your team out.
That is some unique words of wisdom. And thanks, Caleb. That's amazing.